Hi there, welcome to today's tutorial. We're going to do a rain simulation using Tyflow. Now, I'm just going to start off by opening 3ds Max. I've got this already open here, which is the 2024 version. This should work across multiple versions, but try to have the most recent. First of all, I'm actually going to open up a file that I have previously made, which I want the simulation to follow. And I'm just going to find that file for you now. Now, this is the model here. Now, this project is this building here, and this facade is designed to capture rain. As you can see, all the rain will fall down and fall into the model. To start with this tutorial, we're going to start over here and use Tyflow and just plop it on the page like so. Once we've opened Tyflow, we can go into the Creator panel, and I am going to open Editor. And in Editor, we're going to use Birth. We're just going to drag it onto the screen like so. And in Birth, we can create our particles. Let's do 125 total frames. And possibly, actually, that's actually too, maybe not enough. So let's do ends on 120 frames and has a total of, let's say, want a big number, so 5,000, because this is rain, so a lot, we need a lot. Perfect. And as we leave it at that, I am gonna come over here and make sure that this is on film. And we're gonna come here. I'm actually gonna make sure that this is maybe not on film, but on custom. And here I'm just gonna change that to maybe not film, but custom. And because I've done ends on 125, I'm going to change that time, that end time, to 125 as well. Perfect. And that should edit everything on the panel here. And I'm just going to press OK. One thing I will do as well in this, in the Birth, is we're going to change, so display here, small dots, that is going to represent our rain. So maybe I'll make it a little bit more of a blue, light blue color, just to replicate rain. And once we've got that, that's all done. We're actually going to use position, which should be sitting around here, if I can find it. Position icon, here we go. And we're going to place that in between the Birth and the display panel. Now with the position icon, I'm just going to create new. And as you can see, that has opened something up in our previous panel over here. And it's created this square, if you can see it, hiding behind our building. Now, I want the rain to fall over on top of this section here. So what I might do is, roughly, I know that the length and the width of this building, but I might actually make it a little bit smaller so that it really focuses on falling into this structure here. So I'm going to make the length of that, let's try 50 for now. And then we'll do 100 here. And I'm just going to use the gumball tool and put this to sit relatively, oops. On top of my structure. Now, if I want to be able to see it in multiple views, I can go into here, restore viewports, and now I can pay a little bit more closer attention. So this is the top view. This is the front, and then I've got a left view here. So now that I can see that, I can more accurately move this to where I want it. I want it to be sitting right on top of it. I might create a little bit more of a height, like so. Once I'm done that, I really just want to focus on this view. So I'm going to maximize the viewpoint. Now there's some shortcut arrows there, but in this purpose, I will just be using the longer methods just until, so you can see what I'm doing. Now, this is about, I think this is a perfect size. I mean, it could have it bigger, could have it smaller. Looking at the other viewports, it seems like it sits perfectly around this building. Now I'm going back into my editor, which is hidden here. Now I'm gonna put in speed, which is this icon here. I'm actually gonna place it underneath the position icon. And with speed, I'm actually going to change only a few things. I will change direction to along the icon arrow. So that means if you look at the model, it means it is gonna run down this arrow. And as I continue, I will also change variation to 15%, like so, and that should be perfect. I'm going to change that to along the arrow. I am going to create new, and that's changed to 15%. I will also change the magnitude to 12, which should mean that I should have particles running down like so. Perfect. Now that's done, I should have my particles should be, again, just checking everything is working perfectly. Perfect. That's creating rain. That's beautiful, except there's a few things I want to change. I want this rain to collide into the building, so actually be affected by the building rather than raining and running through the building. We want it to actually collide with the building. So in order to do so, we're going to go back into our editor panel. We're going to find a tool called collision. You can find it in this section here. I'm going to drag collision and put it underneath the speed. And for collision, I'm just going to have to make this a little smaller so I can actually see what I'm doing. For collision, we're going to have to pick in collision, I'm going to actually have to click onto the areas I want my particles to collide with. So I'm going to start off by clicking click. I'm going to click these buildings here. You can already see that it is now colliding. But I don't only have that, I actually have this area as well that I want it to run down this funnel. So I'm gonna press click again, and it's gonna select the second plane. So now I should have two, sorry, let me just click that. Perfect, that's now selected. Now I'm gonna select a few parameters. So I'm gonna, how much do I wanna multiply this? I'm gonna start by, that was a lot of particles, so I might just do 0.01. Actually, let's make it 0.001, just to have less have less of a disaster as it currently looks now. Those are a lot of particles. You can go back and change the amount of particles as well. And I also want this to collide with the front faces, so nothing behind, just what we see at the front. And then bounce, now you can decide how much you want to do for this tutorial so that you can see it. Let's keep it at, let's do 70% rather than 25%. And I'm just going to, let's test this out. So as you can see now, everything seems to be falling and it falls through here. Now I might reduce that bounce to, let's make it 50%. And what if we go back into birth and we reduce those particles to 1,000? Let's just see what that looks like. So not as heavy rain. I still feel like that's maybe too strong in terms of how I want it to bounce off the building. So what we'll do is we'll go back here. I might just increase this again to 2,500, and on the collision for the bounce, now that you can see it, let's maybe bring it down to back to 25% and then have a look at that. Happy with my results so far. I'm going to move on to the next steps. Let's put a time on this. And what the time is going to do, I'm going to use this to kill off the raindrops. Maybe after a certain amount of time, after that it collide. What we're going to change in time is the strength. We're going to change that to a -2. I will show you how this looks. Let's do -2. And needing to change, and we should include the time. Let's change that value to 2. And then we've got -2 here. We're going to connect the collision to the time. Now let's just test this out and see the effects that this causes. Just going to make this a lot smaller so we can refer back. Here we go, we're getting a beautiful collision, and maybe I've done the colors too lightly, but you should be able to see a slight change. Oh, and we can stop that so it's not playing in the background and slowing down our computers. Now, as I hinted to earlier, we want to kill some of those particles after a certain time. So we're going to grab delete, and we're just going to connect the time to delete. Now, again, you can change this. We have it at value at 2, but that can change speed. And so if we just look at again, compare the notes that we've got and watch the simulation this time around, we should see some of those particles dying off. You don't get much of a fall here. There's less here. Everything seems to be falling into this tunnel. I'll just pause that again. And now moving forward, we're going to use array, which you should find in this toolbox down below. We're going to put it above force. Feel free to play with the parameters. In this, I don't think I will change anything. Maybe the offset, let's change it to 15%, and change that to, because 25 meters is large. Let's do 5 for now and see what that looks like. As my current, as my buildings are in meters, this is quite large, so let's keep it to 5. So the next step is optional. We can use branch underneath array, and I'm really not going to touch any of these parameters, but feel free to play around with them. I'm kind of happy with what we've got so far, so I'm just going to see how that appears now. Now, see that 5 meters? I think that's still too big. So I will change that to be a little smaller. It's creating those little drop rings that you see. Let's just change it to 1 and see what that looks like. A lot of this is playing around with because I want it to still be visible. In real life, it wouldn't be a meter big, but I just want it to look visible on the building. Now, I still think that's a little larger than I prefer. So let's try to 0.05, see if that makes a difference. Now the bounce is a little bit big. We can change that. Let's see if we turn off batch, see if that makes a difference. It does, we just don't get that playful effect. I'm actually just going to turn the 2 off. And I think that's about what I want. That's perfect for me. Okay, great. So we're done with the tutorial. In the next following tutorial, I will show you how to then convert this into a video ready to export. We might actually also create something for the rain to be, so the rain doesn't go through the building. Maybe we can have somewhere where it catches the rain and you can see that